All right. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about 5.1, Part 1, which is our properties of exponents. Should mainly be review from, I guess it's Unit 8 in Algebra 1, which has been some time for us, but I think a quick refresher should do just fine. So the reason we're learning the properties of exponents, guys, we're going to start working with polynomials. Guys, the simplest polynomial is what we call a monomial. It's one term. Okay, and to simplify an expression containing powers means to rewrite the expression without parentheses or negative exponents. Negative exponents are a way of expressing the multiplicative inverse of a number. The following table summarizes our properties of exponents. Okay, so guys, product of powers, that's when you're multiplying two things with the same base. Guys, you add the exponents, a plus b, adding the exponents there. Quotient, so that's when you're dividing and you have the same base here. Guys, the base is x. A and b are the exponents. You just subtract. So if you get the quotient of powers, you subtract the exponents, a minus b. Guys, negative exponents, okay? We said we couldn't have negative exponents. So what do you do with a negative exponent? Guys, we talked about multiplicative inverse. So x to the negative a, well, that's going to be equal to 1 over x to the a. Guys, if you multiplied these together, you would get the number 1. And then similarly, x, or 1 over x to the negative a, well, that's x to the positive a. Because I'll show you a negative exponent example that makes some clear sense here. Guys, power of a power, so if you take an exponent and you raise it to another exponent, guys, you multiply the exponents. And then lastly, power of a product, you're making sure that everything in those parentheses gets the exponent there. So x to the power of a, y to the power of a. So guys, I've got a couple of simple examples of a few of our properties here. So here, the first one is product of powers. So everything that has guys, product means multiplying. So the coefficients here, 4 and 3, let's multiply those. 4 times 3 is 12. Guys, then we've got, I'll use some color here. We've got x to the third times x to the fourth. Guys, that's going to be x to the power of 3 plus 4. You're going to add those exponents. And then with our y's, we've got y to the fourth, y to the third, and y to the, guys, if you remember, if we don't write an exponent up there, it's understood to be 1. So that's going to be y to the power of 4 plus 3 plus 1. So this whole thing simplifies to 12, x to the 7th, y to the 8th. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1, 8. So that is the simplified expression. No negative exponents, no parentheses. All the bases, they're combined into a simple one. Okay. Quotient of powers here. The quotient of powers, remember, you're going to subtract the exponents when they have the same base. So, guys, here we'll notice, we're going to have 4 over something, okay? Because the terms that have the same bases, those are our x's here. So that becomes x to the, subtracting the exponents, 3 minus 2. Guys, and then y squared, there's no other y basis, so we're just going to leave that on the bottom there. So this would simplify to 4. Guys, x to the 3 minus 2 is 1. We don't need to write that. I mean, we could write the power of 1 there. Do not need to write that. In fact, don't get in the habit of writing it. It's understood to be there. Okay? Over y to the power of 2. Guys, last one here, third one here, we're taking a power to a power. Again, we're going to multiply those. So that's going to be v to the 3 times 3. That is v to the 9th. And then I had one more simple example here on the back. back here. We've got a power of a product, meaning we got to make sure everything inside the print, all of these properties to single problems here, okay? And so that's what we're going to do. The negative exponent, I said I wanted to show you guys an example of that. Well, here's a couple of properties. Here we've got a, this gets the exponent, so that's going to be m to the 4 times 2, power to a power, so m to the 8th, 4 times 2. And that's going to be n to the 2 times negative 2, that's n to the negative 4th. Okay, guys, the way you're going to get rid of a negative exponent, it's kind of strange. You're going to take that term that has the negative exponent, and you're going to move it to the denominator, guys. So this is going to be m to the 8th over n to the 4th. Okay? And that would be the simplified version of it. All right, guys. The goal here, we were going to be able to do some more complex examples, division, multiplication, applying all those properties. So, guys, these 4 examples, they're pretty complex. As you can see, there's a lot of different terms. You can apply on these few examples here. So the first property I see here is I need to make sure everything in these parentheses gets the power of 4. Again, you're taking powers to powers most often here. So we would have what? We'd have x to the negative 4 times 4, x to the negative 16th, y to the 2 times 4, y to the 8th. Over, okay, so everything on the bottom is also going to get the exponent. So 2 to the 4th, x to the 4th, y to the negative 3 times 4, negative 12, times x to the 12th, 3 times 4, yep, x to the 12th, y to the 12th, times, now this last one, 2 to the 4th, x to the 4 times 4, 16, y to the 2 times 4, 8th. Okay. To simplify this further, guys, I would probably leave the top for right now. There's a couple of ways you can approach this at. I would leave the top of it. I know I have a negative exponent. I'm eventually going to have to deal with that. But I would worry about in the denominator here. I would simplify all the x's together, all the y's together, all the 2's together. Okay, and so this is all multiplication on the bottom. So if we're multiplying and having the same base, so this would be 2 to the 4 plus 4, 2 to the 8th. X, adding all those exponents, 4 plus 12 plus 16. That is x to the 4 plus 12 is 16 plus 16, so that's x to the 32nd power. And then we would have y to the negative 12 plus 12, that's 0, y to the 0, and then plus 8, so y to the 8th. Guys, simplifying from here, I would bring these negative 16ths. You got to bring those down. So you've got, you're going to have y to the 8th on top over 2 to the 8th, x to the 32nd, y to the 8th, and then you brought down the x to the 16th. All right, now you've got to add those exponents. Uh, 32 and 16, 48. Guess what happens when we get a y to the 8th over y to the 8th? Because you're subtracting those powers. So you'd have y to the 0. 8 minus 8 is 0. And guys, property it's not really a property. It's just anything. So maybe make a note of this. Anything to power of 0 is 1. Guys, y to the power of 0 is just 1. So this is 1 over 2 to the 8th x to the 48th. That is the simplified version. Guys, you could take 2 to the power of 8. 2 times 2 times 2. 8 times. Guys, I would just simplify it. Leave it as a base of 2. 2 to the 8th. Okay? Quite a bit of work there to get to that simplified version. Again, there's some places where you could do some different steps, kind of like a Google Maps, guys. A lot of routes to get to the same place, some quicker than others. All right, you do need to write out each step along the way, kind of highlighting whatever properties you're applying. Okay. Do maybe a couple more examples here. This number 6, guys, we would have 2a to the 3rd. I would just simplify that bottom. Again, that's where it's most complicated, so I would simplify that bottom power to a power. So we got 2 to the 4th, b to the 4th, a to the 8th, 2 times 4. And then we got that multiplying by a to the 2nd, b to the 2 times 2, b to the 4th. Because then I would combine these b to the 4ths. 2 to the 4th. That'll be b to the 8th. And then a to the 10th, adding those exponents. Here, guys, we do have 2 to the, remember, that'd be power of 1. Over 2 to the 4th, so that's going to be a 2 to the 4 minus 1, 2 to the 3rd on bottom. We're going to have a b to the 8th on bottom. Because we got a to the 3rd over a to the 10th, so that's going to give us 10 minus 3, a to the 7th on bottom. Guys, with just a 1 on top. So this is 1 over 2 to the 3rd, b to the 8th, a to the 7th. Guys, on that last one, I told you could simplify that. Like, it was 2 to the 8th, I think, on the last one. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure what 2 to the 8th is. I do know 2 to the 3rd, guys, is 8. So you could simplify that one a little. Some of you guys might recognize 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Guys, these are equivalent. I would accept either answer. You don't have to simplify that base 2 if you don't choose to. Okay. Guys, in fact, I'm going to save these. I'm going to let these two be your homework here. This video has gone on long enough. Your homework assignment today, it's going to be number 7 and 8 here on the notes. Guys, I'll post a screenshot of that in the assignment. So that's going to be your homework for today. All right. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon. Hope you all had a great Easter weekend. Enjoyed the 2-day week last week and got to spend some time with your families. So everyone have a good afternoon, and we'll see you all tomorrow.